What's up YouTube, Alien Rides here, and today we have the Onsra Velar Electric Skateboard. It's got way more wheels than I am comfortable reviewing, so to help me with that, I've got my good friend, Dred Sk8.
Hey folks.
What's up, buddy?
Hey Alien, good to see you again. For those who may not remember me, I am Scott Dred from Dred Sk8. I did a video with Alien here a couple of years back on the venerable Veno board all-wheel drive, or AWD. It was the board that wasn't all-wheel drive, but it had two sets of hub motors. Anyway, I'm really excited to be here today to check out this board for you. We've got it on the bench here, so without any further delay, let's get this guy opened and I can get this board out on the road and give you my initial impressions. Don't forget, subscribe and let's ride. All right, we're racked and stacked that out of the way. Let's get to the good stuff. The manual. It's got some cute little stickers in here. Those will look good on my charger. I think this should be the T-tool. That'd be a little weird if it wasn't. Ugh. And there we go. Not branded, interesting. It's also neat though that they do include Allen wrenches here. These actually look proper quality, so that's very nice. I really like that it's that top-down style because that's really what you need for like properly tensioning. Got bag of screws. Really hope whoever at the factory followed the instructions when they built the board, but it's nice to have extras. The world's shortest USB-C cable as required by law. And then under here should be a nice loaf of bread. Nope, it's the charger. This is a big chunky boy. That is going to be 3.5 60-volt charger, 4 amps. Not bad. That should be able to charge the board decently fast. Okay, that's important. So this is the new NX controller, I think. Very nice though. I really like that kind of shark fin design it's got going on. It's their standard obligatory 3-pin cable. And that looks like that's going to do it for us all in here. All right, now that we've got the accessories out of the way, subscribe and let's ride. All right, and now that we've had a chance to get her out on the road, first impressions, good. But some interesting things about this board. The stiffness out of the box. I am not sure if that's because of the barrels here or if it's a little too tightened down. I'm looking at the screws here. They look fairly flush, so they're not too tight. So something I'm gonna have to mess with going forward here just to kind of get it dialed in. The throttle on this board was exceptional. I really loved the responsiveness and the speed and the stability of just the thorough, smooth acceleration on here. For the most part, I was riding in cruise, which capped out at about 38 kilometers per hour. As I get into my own review, obviously we're gonna open that up to the higher speed modes, but even at that, and around that 20-25 mile per hour range, the board felt very comfortable, very stable. Not exceptionally carvy out of the box, as I mentioned, but I think that's just down to this being new and me needing to kind of dial it in. I will say, I think the tires on this board are an interesting choice. These are mud tires on what is effectively a street board. One of the things I commented on multiple times today is the fact that this is basically marketed and pushed as almost entirely a street board, and you don't really have the option to mount bindings on this at all, just out of the box. I'm sure you probably could mod it in, and I think bindings here would have made my initial experience a little bit better just because I could get a little bit grip on it because this is on the heavier side. I can flash up screen here what the actual weight of this board is, but it is not a light boy. I did manage to get it back under control, and once I got some miles on it, got some wear on it, I was able to get some decent carving in. This thing does kind of do more of like a wide slalom than like a deep carve, I will say, but to some people that can be really enjoyable. Other than that, of note, I did really like the torque obviously. We have gear drives here, so that is going to be a very like torque on demand. The downside to that is obviously going to be we don't have a lot of free roll here, so basically you're almost constantly on the throttle even when you're downhill if you want to keep up and maintain speed. But for inclines and acceleration and like hard climbs, this basically never lost traction or torque, and it was just smooth and consistent the whole way through. So super impressive on that front. And also the gear drives on this particular model do look fairly sharp, so that's always a nice bonus. Let's talk about this board just from a build quality and visual aesthetics perspective. I really, really like this, and that's saying a lot for a black carbon fiber skateboard. The really up close details have a high amount of polish on them, and just the overall layout and kind of like design of this really kind of speaks to the inner speed freak in me. All the fittings, all of the finish on this board is fairly premium. You can see the mesh carbon fiber through. It's not just blacked out, which is really nice. These beefy 6.3s, 6.9s, we'll put the stats up on what these are, put out more than enough chooch. And it does just come together as just a nice cohesive package. So on that note, let's talk about price. We'll just pull the Band-Aid off here. This board MSRPs for about $2,900, or specifically $2,890 USD MSRP on Onsra's site right now. So yes, it is a lot of money, but you are getting quite a lot of board for that. How much more board? Well, this is a 14S battery pack, so that's gonna give you plenty of range and also plenty of chooch. One of the other nice things here is that if you want to save a bit on that, they also offer the belt drive model of this board, which I think is like $200 or $300 less. You do sacrifice a little bit of the torque, but you get everything else. You get the big battery, same specs, top speed, you get the build quality. For opting for the belt drive, you really don't sacrifice all that much, just a little bit more of that high-end torque. Based on that, if you wanted to get this board yourself, I would probably actually recommend opting for the belt drive, just because there's not actually too much call for a gear drive on a street board, and especially if you're going to kit this out with the street wheels. That's something else we haven't talked about. This board can actually fit urethane street wheels, or specifically I think the 110mm Onsra carve wheels, I believe they call them, the rubberized kind of hollow core wheels that they have. Which also look rather nice on this, and will also lower the board's profile if you want more of that kind of street carver feel. Outside of that, would I recommend the Velar based on my initial experience? I would say yes. And if you want a little bit more convincing, or if you're just curious about the nitty-gritty details of this board, I would encourage you to check out the full review coming to my channel, which will either be linked on the screen here or down below. And thank you all for watching, and maybe I'll see you all next time. Peace. Get it unboxed.
You gotta say it.
Subscribe and
Subscribe and listen to this, you gotta say it.